You guys, I'm so excited to get to introduce this next presenter because unbeknownst to all of you, he's like my new best friend. I met him yesterday, and within 5 minutes of meeting, he was literally recommending me yoga gurus on YouTube, and we were writing in the Hova app. And I'm so excited to not only get to introduce him, but to hear this next session. Because the company that he works for is not only responsible for so much of the magic that went into this year's cause camp, but this organization has helped more than 300 nonprofits raise over $50 million for their work, which is significant, right? We could all learn a thing or two about how to improve the lifeline of our programming, which is, for many of us, events. So please put your hands together for this next gentleman by the name of Joey Goone with Utopia Experience.
Let's go. Start a clap for me. Everybody say, oh yeah. Oh yeah. When I say cause, you say cam. Cause. Cause. When I say cause, you say cam. Cause. Cause. Everybody give yourself a round of applause. All right, now find somebody next to you, someone that maybe you don't know. Give them a high five. Give them a high five. Look them straight in the eyes and say, I love you. All right. So there was a study done. You can take a seat. Thanks for indulging me. Appreciate that. The reason why we did that, there was a study done by physiologists. And this is how we're going to start. This is how we should start every workshop, especially at Cause Camp. This is an incredible community. I just want to honor and thank you all for allowing me the space to come up here and learn with you and from you and together today. I hope I teach you something. That'll be super exciting, but you all are awesome. This community just feels so inviting and so engaging, so thank you for allowing me this opportunity. So scientists and researchers came together and they wanted to know, how do we most quickly change the physiology of a large group of people as quickly as possible? So they did cotton swabs in the mouth and they were measuring levels of oxytocin. And they had a group of a couple hundred individuals do a variety of different activities. So they meditated, they did yoga, they worked out, they hugged, they laughed, they cried, they did hot tub exercises and swam in a pool together. They made love, there was intimacy. Any guesses? No one's gonna get this. Any guesses which activity increased levels of oxytocin the highest in the shortest amount of time? I'll give you a hint. We just did it. Singing and dancing in groups. The interesting part of that is that there was no statistically significant increase in oxytocin levels when people did it individually. But when they did it in groups, there was a massive increase. So if you could bring singing and dancing into your event experiences, whether that's at the beginning of the event when people are walking in, give them an awesome interest experience, or for the post-party, so we're not just taking donations and saying, thanks, see you next year, consider doing something like that. Cool. Here are the key takeaways for today, what I'd love for everybody to walk away with. There are 4 up here. Understanding the neuroscience behind why we gather. And if you understand this, you're going to unlock your communities at a level that exponentially is going to help you increase your impact. We're going to talk a little bit more about that. We just did some neuroscience-y stuff, but I'm not going to say that, you're not going to stand up at your gala or your event experiences and say, hey, neuroscience, yay. We're just going to lead people through activities, right? Number 2 is a knowledge of how to utilize technology in unique and meaningful ways. We've got some pretty cool LED walls up here in all the different breakout rooms. We're going to talk a little bit about tech, but how to leverage it to actually raise money. Then 3, ideas to help you harness the power of video to scale your impact and ultimately your organization. And last but not least, stories from your peers. We're going to connect with each other and learn what's working best for them, because I would imagine that a number of you want to connect with other people like yourself and figure out what's working for them in their event experiences and with their video stories. So I could stand up here and lecture for 45 minutes downstream, and you may take away 1 or 2 things, and maybe you remember those things in a month from now, maybe you don't. Or instead, and what we decided to do, is to make this experiential and fun, to get you involved in this experience, because the reality is a lot of the wisdom lies on the other side of the stage. So much wisdom out there, and I'd love to hear from you all so that I can learn the very thing that you came to learn from me today as we learn together. I would love to know, why are you here today? And for my wife and myself, we have a 9-month-old. I don't know if anybody was here for the Jacob session yesterday when he kicked it off. But anytime we do something now, it's a commitment. We've got to figure out the babysitter plans. Where's she going to go? What are we going to do? Right? So it's a commitment to come to a thing. You've committed your entire week to come to Cause Camp. So we're going to play a little bit of reflective music. Just give you 30 seconds to jot down. Maybe it's up here. Maybe you want to jot down your ideas or your thoughts on paper in front of you. And just reflect on this question. Really, why did you decide to commit your week to come into this event? What are you hoping to get out of this experience? I want to make sure that at least I check some of those boxes for you today during our 60 minutes together. Just give you a moment to reflect on that. All right, friends. I would love to invite maybe 3, 4, 5 shares. Anybody feel of the head or the heart you want to share with the room, with the group? Share with me. Let us know what you wanted to get out of this experience. Yes. What's your name, my friend? Mary. All right. Just hold on one sec, just so we can capture this for the virtual watch party that's happening.
That's awesome.
Later on.
So I came to Cause Camp to connect with my peers and to be around like-minded people to kind of recharge me after a little shakeup we just had, and to learn how to best serve my organization, and for the experience of getting out on my own and doing something to enrich not only myself but my organization. So
that's awesome. Thank you, Mary.
Thanks.
Thank you so much for sharing. Appreciate that. Yeah, give her a round of applause. That's awesome. Who else is feeling called? Anybody else want to share? Yes. Friend back there. This table right over here. Oh, we have someone else. Okay, cool. Yeah. We're coming to you next, my friend. What's your name?
My name's Emily Smith. This is my first conference ever, so I am very excited. And once my boss told me, go to Cause Camp, and I'm like, okay. And it's a marketing, so I'm in marketing as well. So I'm just experiencing a lot. I'm learning quite a bit. So this is just one aspect that I get to learn.
Fantastic. Thank you. You said Emily, right?
Yes.
Thank you, Emily. That's awesome. Yes, we've got a friend over here. And I'm sorry, I can't see you because the lights. But I love the lights. They're fantastic. Otherwise, they wouldn't be able to see the camera, right?
My name
what's your name?
Is Sheree. If you turn around, you might see me on the screen. No, I'm just joking.
Hi, Sheree.
I'm just
Give me
here.
high five.
High five.
Yes.
Boom. Oh, there we go. I'm just here to learn and grow as a professional in the nonprofit world, and also to learn about what other organizations have to offer to our nonprofit so that we can take it back and share with the team and our board. So I'm just really excited to be here.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Sheree. Appreciate you. Yeah, give it up for her. Do we have one more? One more, yes. Awesome.
Hi, I'm Terry Erickson. I'm from Chicago, and I'm in the process right now of transitioning corporate giving for a for-profit organization to a 501c3, to a separate company, so that other companies can also channel some of their corporate giving as well. So I'm learning everything about everything.
Amazing.
With starting a 501c3 and a nonprofit.
Awesome. Share your name one more time.
Terry Erickson.
How many of us want to be friends with Terry in this room? Awesome. Thank you all so much for sharing. So we're going to come back to those shares in just a moment, but before we do, let's nerd out on neuroscience for a moment. So this is what we call the Triune model of the brain. Anybody familiar, or does anybody else nerd out on neuroscience? Yes, I've got some neuroscience friends in the room. So this is the Triune model. It's just one of many concepts and methodologies to make sense of how the brain operates and functions in different systems. So the neocortex, or the prefrontal cortex, is this area of the brain in the front and the outermost layer of the brain. And this is the area that is online when deep learning and executive thinking is happening. So when time falls away and you're in a flow state, that area of the brain is online. Then going one step deeper than that, beneath that, is the limbic system. And you could argue that that's the area where feelings of belonging and empathy and connection live. And then you've got the backmost part of the brain that connects to the brainstem. This is the area of the brain that's been around the longest, and the part of the brain that is concerned with, am I safe and do I belong with this group of people? So whenever we walk into an event experience, maybe we're walking in with one person, if you're like Emily, right? You're walking in by yourself. You don't know what you're walking into. It's your first event, your first experience, your first conference, and you're walking into this space with a bunch of strangers. And the first thing that we should be doing as event organizers is creating the space and the conditions for psychological safety so that that amygdala feels seen and heard. How do you think I feel right now? Right? Standing up here in front of all of you, I'm thinking to myself, do I belong? Will I fit in? Is what I'm sharing today going to land with this group? And so that's the same with our donor communities when they're walking into your event experiences. And so one example of how we can help people feel seen and heard and safe in a group is like dancing, like we did before. Singing, getting up, being vulnerable. Another example is the exercise we just went through together where we posed a question from the stage. We had you connect with a friend in the audience that maybe you didn't know before, but you do now. And you feel a little bit more connected to the group. You feel a little bit more connected to the community at large because you were able to share your authentic voice with another individual. And maybe you found some resonance with the people that you connected with. And so many of us are leading purposeful communities, but we don't have the tactics or the tips or the strategies to really bring our communities online to the fullest extent. And so that's my goal today, is I want to help you understand this stuff, because the tech that we bring into the spaces, the tech we brought into Cause Camp, the LED walls, the cameras that you see, the image magnification on the screens, all the recordings and the content that we're going to give back to Cause Camp so they can promote future opportunities for people to get involved, none of that matters if we don't create the conditions for all of you to feel connected to the deeper community at large. And again, the same is true for the events that you're organizing as nonprofit fundraisers. So, and when we started to understand this stuff, it really changed the game for us and for our clients. And we helped one of our clients recently go from $400,000 at their fundraising event to over $1.4 million just from understanding this stuff. It works. It really works. And it can do the same for you. And indefinitely put it in your tool belt, because I think, I love this note I put up here for myself, that human needs and desires may evolve. But we can move forward with the assumption that our need to be in tribes and communities in time as we know it, 50 years, 100 years, 150 years, is probably not going to change. But maybe in 5 million years, we all hate each other. We don't want to be in communities anymore. I'm not sure. But right now, we all thrive in communities. So this is the 3C model. We borrowed this from our friends over at Exchange Approach. They're an awesome group. Anybody familiar with John Berghoff and Exchange Approach? No? All right. Perfect. For those of you that are, you already know this. For those of you that aren't, let me take you through it. There's 3 reasons people come to events. A number of you just shared some of those reasons. We call them the 3 Cs. People come for content. They want to learn something new. They want to be made better for coming to the event. They want you to teach them something, right? A number of you said you wanted to learn from your peers, connect with event organizers, make your nonprofits better. But the way that we are learning is changing. We stopped watching live TV 20 years ago. Now we have what? Netflix, YouTube, Hulu, streaming. And so information's ubiquitous. We don't open up encyclopedias or books anymore. We get our information from TikTok or Spotify. We go and watch, podcast or listen to podcasts. And so everything is accessible on demand. So the way that we as human beings are learning is evolving. And so we as event organizers need to be evolving as well in how we deliver information. So the second reason people come is for connection. We want to connect with other like-minded peers. Pretty simple. And thoughtful and intentional organizers typically stop there and miss the most important reason we gather and come to events. And we call it the reason that people come back is community, is that people want to be a part of a transcendent purpose. They want to feel like they're leaving legacy, and they're making an impact as a part of a group of individuals that are coming together as a force for good. And so that's what we're really wanting to do today, is we're making this fun and we're making this experiential. It's two-way. You're connecting with your peers, you're connecting with me. Maybe some of you are feeling a little bit more psychologically safe than you were when you came into the space. And I certainly am, because I'm getting to connect with you from up here, which is awesome. Cool. So let's dive in, now that we understand the neuroscience. Let's dive into the actual tactical tips and tricks and strategies and things that you can do at your event with technology and with video stories. Everybody with me? All right, cool. Woo! Who said that? Let's do another one of those. Yes, that's awesome. Yeah, so let's unpack it. So yeah, we're gonna talk about how do we connect, how do we use technology and videos to connect, how do we use event production, technology, videos to capture, and then to cultivate after your event. So let's start with the pre-planning phase. So we start planning with our organizations 9 to 12 months ahead of their events. And some of the questions that we ask them are, what are the most important objectives for you to accomplish at this event? And what do you think the number one answer is? Sell tickets, money, yep. Yep, absolutely. But when we ask, what are the most important objectives for your donors? That one's a little harder for some executive directors and nonprofit fundraisers to answer. What are the goals for new donors, for 10-year donors, for sponsors? And so, thoughtful and intentional organizers sometimes don't think about what the guest goals are. And so it could be as simple as just picking up the phone and calling them and asking them those questions. But we can also utilize our events as a platform to start to capture information and data on our donors, and we're going to teach you how to do that. Or, you know, maybe you're already doing this stuff. We're just going to give you some tools that you can add, again, to your utility belt. So here is one thing that we just recently did for one of our nonprofit groups. Actually, this was a while ago, but I really like this particular invitation video. We've done a number of them since. But anybody in here ever filmed an invitation video? Yeah? What was your experience like? Just curious. Yeah, awesome. Yeah. You have as well? Cool. Yeah, we're going to show you one example. So of course, you know, one of our organizations, we asked them the objectives. They said finding new donors, and that they wanted to, their recipients look like the new donor base that they want to start to attract. So we brought the recipients into our studio, and we filmed this video, and then we asked the recipients to share it on their TikTok. We asked them to put it on YouTube, on Instagram, on LinkedIn, to share it with their network, so that we could start to invite this younger generation of donors into the space and into the experience. And here is the video.
Hi, I'm Naya.
I'm Wamine.
My name is Jacob.
I'm Zara.
My name is Sela.
We know what it feels like to not fit in.
To feel left out and mistreated.
To be looked at differently. We're here to tell you that through cultural leadership, we're all a part of the human family.
The world is more beautiful when we accept each other.
It's time to stand up for justice.
We're speaking out for justice.
We're taking action through cultural leadership.
This year's event is virtual, but we need your support more than ever.
Join us in standing up for justice.
No matter where you're from.
No matter what you believe in.
We stand by you.
We support you.
You belong.
You belong.
You belong.
You belong.
You belong.
And we belong!
Cool. So that was texted out. We embedded the link, and we texted it out through their mobile bidding platform, because that mobile bidding platform is where they were storing information on all of the previous attendees. That was texted out. Of course, all of the recipients, we asked them to share it. They sold 80 tickets within 48 hours of this video being published. So just a thought as a supplement to your paper invitations and the normal invitations that you're putting out there on your various social media pages, consider doing something like that. And that's a very low production. It doesn't cost a lot to film something like that, and the return is invaluable. So I want to show you another video that you might consider filming before your event experience. And this was filmed for a particular organization. they have a sponsor who always sponsors their events. And they've always done sort of the obligatory, hey, we'll put you up we'll print you on our program, we'll throw you up on social media. We thought about engineering this a little bit differently this year because we knew this sponsor was going to come in at the $25,000 level sponsorship. And so we instead asked the sponsor if they wanted to share their story on video and sort of framed it as a legacy video, as something that their family could connect with and have as sort of posterity on their family's cancer journey. And cancer touches so many of us, and many of the individuals in this person's family have been afflicted by cancer. And so this was a sponsorship. It was a $25,000 sponsorship. He raised his paddle for an additional $45,000 at the event during the Fund a Need. And it was a really cool way to offer something that now lives on his company's website under their corporate social responsibility section. So every time, it's not just a post on social media with their logo, right? It's an intentional, purposeful, thoughtful video about their experience and how this organization helped them overcome the darkest days and the darkest hours. And he was willing to, oh my God, yeah, we're gonna have this video forever? Yeah, let's do it, and here's the video. I'm not gonna show the whole thing, it's 5 minutes, but we'll send you the slides after if you wanna take a look at the full video.
So I lost a father to prostate cancer. I lost my oldest brother to both kidney and lung cancer. I lost a dear sister-in-law at the age of 30 with 3 young children to skin cancer. I had a brother some 15 years ago diagnosed with kidney cancer. I can tell you this past weekend, I spent a wonderful weekend with he and his wife. My family's cancer history has hope to it as well. I'm blessed and privileged to even have a platform. It wasn't just to help my family, that I have a platform as advanced chairman and CEO of Ameren, that I could use this platform to educate, working with so many others, like the cancer support community. This is what they do each and every day.
We are meant to be in community as people. And so cancer support community is a place where you can meet others who are going through the same thing you're going through. And our programs are geared to provide information.
Awesome. See the utility? Is that resonating? Doing something like that maybe for a sponsor? Yeah? Awesome. All right, moving on. If you want, by the way, we'll have a QR code at the end. You could scan it. We'll give you all the slides, all the videos, and then some smiles too along the way. So during your event, moving into how do we leverage technology at our event experiences, like these LED walls, like sound and video and maybe red carpet, hybrid technology to capture information on our most important relationships. And the first thing is really having an understanding of AV production. And so we always talk about like in-house production versus outside production. And there's a big difference between AV and event production. AV is like if you call the hotel and you say, hey, we're gonna have 200 people to a space, and we need a screen and just make it work. And they show up, maybe an hour before the event. And I don't know if anybody's had the experience of maybe your video plays, maybe it doesn't play, maybe there's some people in the room that can hear, and they're like, oh my God, what are we doing? Who's the contact, right? So I'm not trying to be disparaging to some of our friends that are in the hotel AV space because many of us have been there, but just kind of want to distinguish the difference between working with an in-house team versus an event production company that can help you with all of the things that we're talking about here today, the pre-planning, the during, and then the post-event production process, and how to use the technology as an investment so it goes further for you. By the way, everybody, before you sign your contract with your hotel or your venue, if you want to work with an outside agency, I'd highly encourage you to give that contract to your event agency before you sign on the dotted line, because you hold the leverage until you sign. And so some of the things just in negotiation, because we negotiate with hundreds of different venues for our nonprofit clients every year. So some of the things to do, just maybe a couple ninja tricks for you as you're negotiating with your venues, ask for the things that you know they're going to say no to first. Ask for upgraded food for free. Ask for an upgraded bar package for free. Ask for lower F&B minimums. And then, once they say no, 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 they're going to feel more obligated to say yes to something, right? Then you're like, cool, well, you said no to all those things. If you want to keep our business, you've got to say yes to this over here. Maybe that's throwing in internet for free. Anybody been a victim of a $1,000 internet charge? Yeah, or a $900 outside event company fee where if you bring a group like us in, they're like, yeah, well, you have to pay $1 million for that. No, I don't. You just have to ask for it before you sign. We have a whole video on how to negotiate with venues and hotels. I'm happy to send it to you. Just come see me after. It's a 2.5-minute video, and it might help you as you move forward in your event planning process. Cool. Questions on AV event production? AV at all? Yes, my friend. You want the video? Fantastic. Sure. Yeah, so her question was that they work with a number of, or they've worked with in-house providers in the past, and she's looking for tips and tricks and strategies on how to sort of make that relationship go further. I would encourage you to find an agency that you can build a relationship with, because as you move venues, you know, a company like us, we go with you. Right? So you really establish that relationship. You've got your talk tracks down. They understand your mission. And so when you walk into this space, like what happened with Delaney and the Cause Camp team, we've been working with them for a year on this event. The Whova app works really well, right? It's interactive. Everything worked. Registration was seamless. You can hear me. You can see me. There's going to be so much content promoting this event. So because we have that relationship with each other, there's just that confidence built there that you can't get in that transactional AV relationship. I want to show you that's a really solid question. I'd be happy to chat afterwards and see if I can help in any way. I want to show you a case study for an organization called Variety, the children's charity. Anybody familiar with them? Variety? Awesome. So, so many organizations are fantastic about connecting people to the mission, but we oftentimes miss that third C. Remember we talked about the 3C model, the community element, and that's connecting donors to each other. And so this is what we did for Variety.
Variety's events are always incredible. For years, they've brought A-list performers to their event stages. This year, though, they wanted to do something different. They wanted attendees to go home with a better understanding of how exactly Variety changes lives, the services they provide, why their mission matters. Instead of a celebrity, they wanted the children and the families to be the stars of the show. The challenge, then, was to keep donors engaged without the star power of previous years, and to make sure that attendees left the venue feeling a genuine connection to Variety. Enter the Vignette Experience, a guided tour through the services Variety provides explained by the people who've been impacted by them most. We created 4 short video vignettes, each telling the story of a family that's benefited from one of Variety's 4 key programs. We then built displays around the venue. The guests toured in intimate groups of about 20. From there, they were given a chance to socialize and connect over their shared experience before finding their way to the tables for the main program. The rest of the night was led by the endlessly talented Ali Stroker, the first actor who uses a wheelchair to have won a Tony Award. Donor after donor came back raving about the vignettes and their experience, about how meaningful it was to see the impact of their donations, about Ali's amazing performance, about the kids. The night was incredible. We're honored to have worked with Variety and so grateful that they took a chance to let us do something new. Our mission is to scale hope, build connection, and change lives by helping those that help the world, and moments like these mean everything to us.
So that experience was an opportunity for, donors were touring in intimate groups with individuals that they didn't know before walking into that space. And so we were not only connecting them with the mission, which is, and helping them learn, which are the first 2 C's, learning and connection. content and connection, right? But the third C, the most important C, and why people come back is the community. People were hugging, they were laughing, they were crying, they were turning to people that they didn't know, and they were creating like dinner plans, building relationships with each other. So something we can use, and we've sort of iterated and evolved that process. We now use these screens at that, if we're doing a vignette or an exhibit experience like that, using these screens, just because it's more economical than building a whole wooden display like what we did there. So Variety was used to raising $400,000 at their event. They raised $500,000 at their event utilizing this, and then an additional $900,000 because the director of development picked up the phone the next day the next day was Sunday. He had a reprieve. And then Monday, he started to pick up the phone and call all those donors and said, what was that experience like for you? And the feedback that he got was incredible. And they came back to us and shared that feedback. And again, they raised an additional $900,000 because he got so many more yeses from individuals that were willing to have those coffee meetings with him afterwards to continue their relationship because they felt so connected to that community. Cool. So hybrid events, kind of what Cause Camp is doing here today. We've got this whole experience happening in the room and then an experience that's going to be happening online after the live event. And so now we're able to take all of this, all the great conversations and connections and the content from the stage and put it in an online environment. How many people have done hybrid? How many people had a good experience doing hybrid? All right, so, yeah. Was it the tech? Yeah, okay. So, it's tough to nail it, right? You're always sort of at the mercy of technology and oftentimes Wi-Fi. So a lot of things you can do with that is just making sure that you're directly connected to internet. Some things to really, build the experience up for your virtual attendees is like the roaming camera. So notice how we've got the roaming camera moving around the room. One of the things we just recently did, we have a Chicago-based organization. Their top donor always misses their event. I don't know if it's intentional or if, but he always comes in via the streaming platform. So we're like, of course, we don't want the top donor to miss this experience. Let's invite them and give them the opportunity to participate, even if they're down on family vacation in Florida. So we sent the stream link, and that donor gave, I think, $40,000, $50,000. But the coolest part about it was we had the roaming camera, and we put it on the table that were his best friends right before we went into the paddle race. And he got to we brought him up on the screens from Florida, and he was like, hey guys, how you doing? I miss you all, I love you all. And they're like, we miss you too, we love you. So it created that two-way conversation, opposed to people just being online sort of passively witnessing a program. He and his family were able to actively participate. Moreover, what you can do with hybrid is you can separate your sponsorships. So now you've got live sponsorships in person, and sponsors will pay for the recognition when you tell them that, hey, your information will live indefinitely across time on our online platform because it's not going to go away. If you're doing a live event, it sort of lives and dies at the venue. But if you're doing it online, it's going to exist on indefinitely forever. So there's benefit to that. Repurposing the red carpet. So we just recently, for an organization, had a red carpet where there was an interviewee on stage, an MC. So think about like a paparazzi, like you walk into the Oscars and there's someone like, oh my God, how you doing? This is so exciting. Come over to the red carpet, snap a picture. You look great. You are wearing that dress. Why are you here today? And so we asked the organization, what's the most pertinent information we can gather for you on the red carpet? And this one organization was a private school, and they said, well, we want to know how many kids do they have? So we can enroll those kids in our private school. And what age are those kids so we know when we can start prospecting all those new young kiddos and bring them into our school. And so we asked that question in addition to many other questions and then turned over all that video footage to the organization. And of course, their admissions team, they scrubbed through the footage and found out there were 4 young families whose kids were ready to enroll in their school. So they were able to enroll 4 new families just based on the information that they gathered on the red carpets. You can use red carpet interviews as a way to capture some pertinent information on your most important relationships, and then use that information to create a thoughtful follow-up strategy with those individuals, with those donors and those families. Letter writing. This is the most impactful thing I've ever experienced as a donor at an event. So I was a donor, and there was a story of a little girl named Hannah who was 8, 9 years old, and she was battling a terminal illness. And her wish was that she just wanted to go and see a Taylor Swift concert. So they played this video, and every single one of us in the room, group of 150, 200 of us, was bawling hysterically. And then the executive director stepped on stage, and I am going to do my best not to get emotional because she's no longer with us. But the executive director stepped on stage and said, "There's blank note cards in front of all of you right now. We're going to write a letter as a community to Hannah. Offer her words of love, endearment, anything that comes to your head or your heart, anything you want to share with her and her family during this time of need." And then they sent those letters to Hannah and her family. They collected those letters, and then they went into the paddle race after that. You think we raised enough money for Hannah to get that wish? Absolutely. And I'll share how they close the impact loop in just a second. On-site podcasting. This is huge. Has anyone seen this? Podcasting on-site, like at an event? Yeah? So you can monetize your audience. We have an event coming up in March, and they are bringing on it's an event for entrepreneurs. And so we made the connection that there's a podcast online called the 7 to 8 Figure Podcast. And it's all about how do you scale your business from 7 to 8 figures. And so the organizers called this podcast, and they said, "Hey, do you want to sponsor our event? For $20,000, we'll allow you to come into our room and broadcast live and to hand select any of the members of our audience base to bring as guests on your podcast," because they're all successful entrepreneurs. Matthew McConaughey's in the room. Barack Obama's chief of staff was in the room last year. So super cool. And of course, they're monetizing that network. And the sponsor, the podcast host said, "Of course I want to sponsor that for $20,000. I'd love to get some of those voices on my podcast because it's going to build our audience." So think about there are millions of podcasts out there. What podcasts are talking about and care about the work that your nonprofit is doing? Jump on iTunes or Spotify and find those podcast hosts and invite them into your space during your event. LED walls, projectors suck. They rely on dark rooms. I was just at another conference last week, and there was a projector in front of a window, and you couldn't see the screen. And so LED walls, they're modular. You can make them like this or like this. I mean, there's so much utility with a wall like this. And projectors, anybody ever experienced, they're either too big or they're too small. They're never the perfect size. We can make them any size in any venue, in any space. And because this technology is becoming, technology evolves so fast, they're a lot more affordable than they were 5 years ago. All right, in-event surveys. Everyone, how many people do a post-event survey? Awesome. You all are killing it. What's your response rate like on that survey? Anyone ever done an in-event survey where you could almost get 100% response rate? All right, yeah, awesome, fantastic. We're gonna do one right now. So scan the QR code for me. Invite you to scan that. And it is a 1-question survey, I think. It's 1 question, right, guys? Yes, awesome. 1-question survey. Everyone able to pull it up? All right, look at that. Responses coming in real time. So, 16% of you have been at your nonprofit for 10 years or more. That is awesome. 5 to 10 years, 20% of you. So you can see how we can pull the results up in real time. One of the things that you might want to consider doing, instead of asking on the survey, how many of you have been involved in your nonprofit? Maybe you ask, how many of you have been donors for our nonprofit for more than 5 years? Wow, that's awesome. Look at how many donors we have that have been involved for more than 5 years, for more than 10 years. Can we ask the donors that have been involved for more than 5 years to stand up? We just want to acknowledge you and recognize you. You are freaking awesome. Great, now take a seat. Now, can we have everyone here tonight who's a first-time donor stand up? If you want to take it one step further than that, you recognize those people, right? And then you ask the donors who have been around for more than 5 years to go high five, love on, hug the first-time donors and invite them into the community. Tell them how much you love them and appreciate them because we want them to become you 5 years from now. So you can use technology to create the conditions where your community feels like they're a part of something bigger. Cool. Fun to need video? We've all done this, right? So the goal here is a 3 to 6 minute video. And the 3 questions that we found are the most effective to answer when you're filming that video are, why should we give? Why should we give? What does a donation provide for our recipients, for the recipients? And how will my donation impact the community, the state, and the world? So we're going to show you maybe the first 30 seconds of a Fun to Need video. We worked with, is Tamika in here, my friend Tamika? Yes! Hey, friend. So Tamika's with Boys and Girls Clubs National, and this was for Boys and Girls Clubs in Chicago. And what we did is, this was during the pandemic when the world was ending. And John Krasinski, if I have any Office fans in the house, John is Jim from The Office. My wife's in the back of the room. Love you, honey. My wife and I love The Office. It is hilarious. And so Jim, or John, did these little Some Good News segments during the pandemic to add a little brightness and levity to everybody's day. And we did that for the club using the recipients as our anchors and storytellers. And here's the video.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to SGN, Some Great News, our first broadcast of some great news and some great stories we would love to share with you. I'm Michaela Harrington, the host of SGN, here at the Boys and Girls Club of Dundee Township. While we've had to change and adapt, the kids and families of Dundee need our help now more than ever. We're socially distanced, but that hasn't stopped us from bringing our community together, giving our kids a place to go and a path to grow. One of our newest programs is the High School Impact Center for our kids in grades 9 through 12. Will helps run the Impact Center. Let's take a look.
What we do here is, when the students come in, engage their interests, try to see what they're good at and what they're not good at, and help them explore some career options, help them explore what their gifts are and their talents through different programs that we do here. We have a culinary kitchen, so we have a cafe area that has a culinary kitchen that we cook at least 2 or 3 times a week with the youth. We also have a creative arts lab. The creative arts lab is where we do lots of painting and different creative things that they just want to kind of explore. We do a lot of sewing and things of that sort. With our tech lab, we teach them Microsoft suites. We do robotics, we do STEM, and a lot of gaming type things as well. With our build lab is where we kind of really get our hands on. We have a program that we started this summer, which is called Impact Cycling, where we got a lot of bikes donated from the community. We bring the bikes in, we assess them, and help rebuild them. Then we have our sound studio. Our sound studio is where we do mixed beats, and they can sing, they can record, they can rap. And right now with this pandemic, it gives them a sense of belonging.
That's great news. Our reporter Christian.
All right. Hey, can we give it up for Tamika and Boys and Girls Club for all the work you're doing? Yes. So Michaela is so freaking cute. I love that video. It's awesome. Okay, moving on. After your event, so you've had this amazing experience. You have connected donors. You've taught them something new. They're connecting to your mission. They're connecting to each other. Now we know that it stops, right? You're done. Yeah, no, Getting a lot of head nods there. Nope, absolutely not. The fortune's in the follow-up. The fortune is in the follow-up. We always say that the end of the event is really the beginning of the relationship. I have a friend, his name is Kurt. He goes to, 20, 30 events every year-ish. And he introduced me to the concept of a test donation, where he'll go to this event, he'll give during the paddle raise, maybe buy a live auction item, somewhere between $1,000 and $5,000, and he'll see how the organization follows up with him. Now, one organization sent him a formulated, canned thank you letter with a rubber stamp from the executive director. Another organization sent a personalized thank you note, and he showed me this, and then called him and asked, "Why'd you give? What motivated you to come? You're a first-time donor. What can we do to make this the best event experience you've ever been a part of, the best community that you've ever been a part of?" That organization was invited to apply to his foundation and got a $500,000 grant, just from taking that extra step and making the phone call. Even though he wasn't a $10,000 level donor, or I'm not sure what your different levels are. Everybody, of course, it varies. But even though he wasn't one of the largest donors in the room, they still took the time to make that really intentional phone call and that outreach. And that's why he's still involved giving to that organization today. I heard this quote from, was anyone here yesterday to see Nathan from Next After? So we had Tim Kachuriak on our podcast a couple months ago. He's the founder, the CEO of Next After. And he cited this statistic, and it was kind of interesting to me that 60% of first-time donors give and never give again. And so the opportunity, that's an opportunity for all of you all. Because if you're doing this work and you're doing it with intention, you can go out and capture all of those donors where other nonprofits are just letting them slip through the cracks. So a couple things we can do here. Obviously, the thank you cards. We're not going to spend a whole lot of time on that. I think everybody is doing the thank you letters. Everyone knows what a thank you note is. Thank you videos. This is so simple. So you just pull out your phone after your event and take a selfie video on your iPhone at your desk or wherever you like. Maybe you send some thank you videos to some donors or some of your most treasured relationships here. You've got some beautiful scenery to do it. Just take a video of yourself and thank someone and acknowledge them for being a part of your nonprofit. You can send those videos. I've done this where we recorded 100 videos and it took a couple of hours. They're 15-second, 30-second videos. You can do that so quickly and then just text them out to your attendees. Use your mobile bidding platform, use your donor database platform, text it out, or just MMS, SMS message. Letter writing. So they closed the impact loop on Hannah by sending us a video 2 months after we sent the letters and after the event. We got a video, and I got a video texted to me of Hannah reading our letters. And her family just acknowledging and recognizing how much love that she felt from this donor community of individuals that didn't know her, strangers, who were now a part of their family. We got to see her live that experience of going to see Taylor Swift in concert through that video. And then at the end of the video, it mentioned that Hannah was no longer with us, that she passed away 2 weeks after making that wish come true. And so here I am, 8 years later, still getting choked up about it because it was so meaningful. Moment of pause. You want donors like me who are standing on stage 8 years later still professing their love for what you did for them. It's what they did for me, not what I did for Hannah. Content strategy. We should be thinking about your content strategy before you go into the event planning process. And so what we're doing here at Cause Camp is all the sessions are being recorded. We're also filming a sizzle reel. So that's being recorded here, and that's going to help Cause Camp, Delaney and her team, promote future Cause Camps, so next year. And you might even be asked to be in the video. Just, share your experience at Cause Camp so that we can get other people excited to come and learn as a part of this community. Short form content. So this is also something that can be done at your events. Pull a donor aside and say, what do you love about our event experience? Just capture that on an iPhone. post that on your Instagram or your LinkedIn or your social media channels the following day. This donor loves this. What do you love? Super simple content strategy. So, and I'm going to show you a video in a second. Anybody, do I have any Miracle Morning fans in the house? Yes, Hal Elrod. All right, I've got some fellow fans. So Hal was my life coach for 2 years. I love that man so much. And one of my goals was to produce an event for Hal. So we produced an event for Hal last month, and we recorded a video that I'm going to show you in just a moment. You could do 50 of these videos, 100 of these videos at your nonprofit event. So your event, whether it's a red carpet video with a donor, or an iPhone video, or you pull your video team aside and do a variety of these short form videos like what I'm about to show you, you're leveraging your event as an opportunity and a grounds to create post-event content. And again, the podcast, you can pull conversations from the podcast and post them. Cool part about the podcast too is every time that podcast host is posting the video, or every time it's being listened through Spotify, your organization's being promoted. So you can ask for that content and repost it. Red carpet, we talked about that too. You can pull sound bites from your red carpet on what your donors, what your attendees love about your organization and post that on your website, on your social media channels. So here's the video we recorded for Hal. You can do so many of these at your event, and here's an example.
Hey, it's Hal Elrod, author of The Miracle Morning, and I have something that I am so excited to tell you about. That is the Miracle Morning Updated and Expanded Edition. It is a brand new book. I rewrote every single page of the original. I added 2 new chapters, The Miracle Evening and The Miracle Life. And this new book is to take The Miracle Morning to the next level. So whether you're brand new to The Miracle Morning or you've been doing it for years, I wrote this book so that it would appeal to and exceed the expectations of every reader. You can get your copy today at miraclemorningbook.com. And thank you so much. May this bless your life.
Awesome. Reflections from all of my friends out there. I'd love to know, what is one thing, because we're going to continue to iterate and evolve this conversation. What is one thing I'd love to know? What are you taking away from this session today? We've got new ideas. Awesome. We have our resident mic runner. Delaney, you're awesome. Amazing. Thank you so much. Show of hands. Anybody want to share? Awesome. Let's just wait till we get the camera and the mic. Delaney, go ahead, hand her the mic. Matt's coming around. He's going to get you on camera.
Hi, I'm Sabrina. I work for Macmillan Health, a nonprofit in Fort Wayne, Indiana. And something that this conversation has sparked for me is, are we connecting to our donors and our those who attend our events in the right way? Are we really connecting with them, spreading the message in the right way? Before in the past, we've shared our educational programming with them, how it works, but is that how we're getting them to connect with us and actually donate and see the inspiring message from what we do? And so now I'm brainstorming new ways on how we can actually connect with the audience that come to our events.
Awesome. Beautiful reflection. Thank you for sharing so much. Anybody else want to share?
Hey everyone, I'm Jeff Patterson, actually from Bluffton, Indiana. I actually sat through Macmillan stuff growing up, so been there, done that. One thing I just say, like seeing the LED screens, I think a lot of times nonprofits, you're so concerned about your expenses, and anything you can do to immerse your audience into something is so valuable. And so we started investing in using video screens, and actually very similar setup with having them on the side and throughout the room. And it really provided a great experience that our donors remembered. Like we blacked out the whole room at one point and shared stories. And then we had these made to life-size proportions to represent the height of a child. And then all of a sudden they came on and the child came on sharing their story. And it was so impactful. So I just encourage you guys all to really look at and consider how you can use these things to immerse people and take it to the next level.
Amazing. Thank you so much for sharing. Really appreciate you.
Hi everyone, my name is Helen Kilonzi. All my reflection from this session has been to invest time in preparing an event. Yeah, that's it. Thanks.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Maybe one more share. One more?
Hi, Joey. It's Lori Buxton from the Association for Early Learning Leaders. We talked yesterday.
Yes. Hi, Lori.
Hi. I just want to tell you that I've been doing events for many years, and the vehicle of audiovisual just went from one-dimensional to 12-dimensional for me. Understanding, I'm an old chick, and so I come at it from a very traditional model, and understanding how this can take our powerful message and speak it in a way that doesn't just hit, it penetrates. And I love just seeing the impact it's had on you, and I am so excited to take this back to what we do so that we can take the difference we make at this level and take it to infinity. So I'm
Lori,
excited.
awesome.
So thank you. And also, I'm Terry's cousin in real life, so if you need to know her, just come see me.
Terry Goddard?
No, Terry Erickson right there that you were telling up. Yeah, that's my cousin. So
Terry
yeah,
Erickson.
I know her.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So thank you so much for doing this today. For
Thank
real.
you so much, Lori. I'm honored by that. Thank you. Awesome. If you would like a copy of the slides, and giving us your feedback would be a welcomed bonus, please go ahead and scan that QR code. Let us know what you thought. We want to continue to evolve this conversation and make it better and better and more effective. It's for you all. It's for all of you. So please give us your feedback, scan the QR code. If you put your information in, give us your email address. We'll make sure you get a copy of all the videos and all the slides. And thank you all so much. Really appreciate your time, and continue to enjoy the rest of your time here at Cause Camp. Thank you all. Thank you. Back to, I think I'm kicking it back over to Denavia, right? Awesome.